This week, we're going to talk about what happens when your success depends on a sucky teammate. Now, for those of you that are new, my name is Brody-Waite, and every week I teach how to live and lead mask-free through videos just like this. So if you don't want to miss one, make sure you hit the subscribe button, because every week you're going to learn how to take off the mask, how to live and lead mask-free, and it's going to change your life. And if it does, if it makes any sort of an impact, if anything I say resonates, please let us know through social and show other people that this stuff works and it can make a difference. I think we have all found ourselves in situations where we feel like no matter what we do, we can't control the overall situation and make it successful. We feel like no matter the cost, no matter the opportunity, that we're just a small part of the equation and we're not going to be able to make a difference. Well, you know what? We never know how what we do when nobody is looking makes a difference. And this week, I'm going to show you how it makes an incredible difference. So early in my career at Dell, I got promoted to a sales team where I was on the inside as an inside sales rep, and I had an outside sales rep that was my partner, and his name was Sam. And he would be the person that would go meet with our different customers. Well, my beginning of that job got off to a rocky start because the person that I replaced took me aside and said, okay, the only way you're going to be successful is if you get rid of Sam. And I'm like, get rid of Sam? He's like, he's horrible and he will wreck your success. He sucks. And I was like, okay. So I went into my job and I assumed that they were just being dramatic, but I soon found out what they meant. So I would set up meetings for Sam to go meet with big corporations, and then I would get a call from them and say that he no-showed them, that he would actually send them messages that he was on his way and then never arrive. I thought that was bad. It turned out when Sam showed up to a meeting, it got even worse for us. Because what I found out was he would bring his dog. One time I had a customer call me and say it was the worst meeting they'd ever had because his dog got loose, went running around in the parking lot in the middle of the summer, and he went out in a full suit chasing his dog all over the place, sweating profusely everywhere, walks back into the meeting, he's got sweat all over his suit, and his dog's panting like crazy, and he starts asking for a water bowl, and they can't even talk about the actual business reason that they're there. Not very professional, by the way. So as I'm sure you could imagine, I keep hearing stories like this. I'm doing my part, I'm making the calls, I'm responding to the emails, I'm doing all the things I'm supposed to as a sales rep. And my success is absolutely tanking because my outside partner is an absolute clown show. And so I started to ask myself, is doing all the stuff that I do really worth it? Should I even be trying that hard when it's futile? When he's going to wreck our success anyhow? We've all been in situations like that. I've been in situations where I felt like I had a sales team and we had a number that we couldn't hit, where we felt like you don't have a product that's going to sell. When you feel like you're in a personal situation and whatever you do, it's not going to change the situation. But here's the deal. We never know the impact of what we do in those situations, especially when we think it doesn't matter. And so I started not doing my job. I stopped making the phone calls, stopped doing the emails, stopped doing everything really well and with a sense of urgency, because I figured it's not going to make a difference. We're going to fail anyhow. I started to feel bad about myself. I started to lose energy, lose confidence. I started dreading coming into work. And it really made I had this negative cloud just hiding behind me all the time. It would come out and make me so sad. And so I was leaving work one day, and I called my sponsor, and I was like, man, I just feel terrible about myself every day when I leave work. And he's like, well, when did that start? I was like, well, it kind of started when I kind of gave up. He's like, tell me more. And I told him the whole story. And I expected him to be on my side and say, yeah, man, there's no point in working hard. Sam sounds like he sucks. You're in an impossible situation. But he said something very different. He said, Mike, this is the difference between practicing these principles and not. This is the difference between understanding what you can control and what you can't, surrendering the outcome and just doing the uncomfortable work. And what he told me was, do all of the things to make you successful, not because you think it's going to make you successful, but because it's what you can control and it will change the way that you feel about yourself. And I wanted to feel different. So I went in there and I started doing my job, not because I thought we were going to be successful, but because I didn't want to walk out of there feeling unsuccessful. There's a big difference. So I kept doing that, and after a while, people started to find out what Sam was doing. And my manager and his manager decided to get to the bottom of why our team was not performing well. And so they did an assessment of me and him. And they gave a form for everybody that worked with us to fill out and say what we should stop doing, what we should start doing, and what we should continue doing. Essentially feedback on our performance. And so like 20 of our teammates filled this out on each of us. And I felt pretty good about what people were going to say about me, thanks to the fact that I focused on doing my job. And I was pretty confident they were going to say that what Sam was doing was not as good. But here was the problem. There was a reason that Sam had never been fired before. He was protected by higher ups that he had personal relationships with. And all they needed was an excuse to keep him. And so when they had us do all these assessments, they also had Sam and I do an assessment on each other. And so I got to fill out my stop, start, continue on Sam, and he got to fill out his on me. And so everybody turned in all their feedback on both of us, and I turned in my feedback on Sam on that Friday, but there was one person that didn't turn in their feedback, and it was Sam. He didn't turn in his feedback on me, because it turned out that the higher-ups that were protecting him gave him all of the information that everybody had submitted. And he was able to see all the horrible things that people were saying about him and what I said about him. And he got scared for his job. And so he spent 2 more weeks past the deadline writing all these intricate stories about how the real problem was me. Me doing the uncomfortable work, me focusing on my side of the street made all the difference in the world, because nobody in all of their feedback said negative things about me, and the only person that said negative things about me was Sam. And as a result, Sam finally got fired. And I was able to get a new person that actually showed up to meetings. But if I had given up when things looked futile, I think I would have been the one that was fired. Because all it took was a couple of people saying some negative things about me that he would have been able to take and turn into negative stories that would have given the higher-ups the excuses to fire me instead of him. I had no idea any of that was going to happen. But they say integrity and character is what happens when nobody is looking. And that was tested for me, and my willingness to surrender the outcome and do the uncomfortable work anyway saved my job and made me more successful. And so when you think about you, and you think about any situation that you're in, personal or professional, where you feel like you're put in a position to fail and things feel futile, I would encourage you to do the uncomfortable work. Surrender the outcome. Focus only on what you can control, because you never know what's going to happen next. And you never know who is going to observe what you're doing and be impacted by what you're doing. You can control whether you feel successful, even if you're in a situation where you're guaranteed to not be successful because your teammate sucks. Now, if you are tired of living in a masked world just like I am, follow me on social media, because we are putting out mask-free content every single day to help encourage you to live and lead mask-free. And I would love if you engaged with me and asked me questions so I had more ideas of the different types of stories and teachings that I can do in these weekly videos. And of course, if you are looking for resources to learn how to live and lead mask-free, please go to my website, michaelbrody-waite.com.